We'll look at heightened weekend rain chances and have we seen the last tropical activity for this hurricane season. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi, my friends. Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We are your home for Caribbean weather. Nice to see you for this latest video. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, we'll take a look at that stall boundary in the Western Caribbean, the heavy rain it continues to bring, where I expect heightened rain chances for the weekend ahead, and of course, what's happening tropically in our area, or the lack thereof, as we move through the rest of November. As always, Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorney. To get property damage of any kind, they'll walk you through the insurance claim process. It's leanonmelaw.com for more information. Want to take a second and appreciate you guys finding enough value and information from this channel to spend part of your day with me. It means a lot to me. Let me know in the comments section below where you're viewing from, what the weather has been like. We'll get started with a surface analysis. This pesky boundary is still draped from the southern sides of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, over Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and back into the northern sides of Central America. We still have a mainly easterly flow along that boundary, promoting some additional onshore rain, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The easterlies are pretty fresh in the eastern Caribbean, and we're going to get more rain in that area associated with that boundary as well. But we'll start off with the northwest Caribbean. Again, a spot where we continue to see some spotty heavy showers and some thunderstorms. Now, the good news is the boundary, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, is beginning to fall apart a little bit towards the Chetumal area here, southern side of Quintana Roo. We still have some gusty winds. We have some heavier rain, northern coast of Belize from San Pedro back down towards Belize City. It's spotty in nature overall. I mean, look, there's still going to be some hefty downpours and even a rumble of thunder from here or there. That broad low is pretty much dissipated, but again, the winds are still mainly out of the east, and that's pulling in some of this moisture. I'm not as concerned today as I was yesterday about the additional heavy rain. There could still be a couple of spots that hit 2 to 4 inches or 50 to 100 millimeters. So a possibility is there for isolated flooding to continue at least through early Saturday, but the overall bulk of this moisture is beginning to fade a bit. It's been a little bit quieter today for the Bay Islands, the Gulf of Honduras in general, San Pedro Sula, La Ceiba areas, Utila, Rotango, and Aja. Not completely dry though. You guys have had some rain in this area. Let me know in the comments section below. We'll follow the boundary that's elongated from west to east back through the Cayman Islands, where we've had some passing clouds. Now, again, the interesting thing about this is the way that this is setting up at the mid-levels of the atmosphere. You have your surface winds out of the east, you have your mid-level winds out of the west, so it is two different wind directions across the Cayman Islands. So if you live across the Cayman Islands, you're seeing clouds going in two different directions over the islands with some showers and storms, mainly kind of just east of Cayman Brac at the hour. There's the opportunity of some of this to get back over the islands, but again, it's going to be pretty spotty in nature. Same situation across Jamaica as well. We're getting some localized thunderstorms. They become a little bit more prominent today, basically in the heart of the island, north of Mandeville and Maypen and west of Linstead. So portions of, St. Catherine and Clarendon and Manchester parishes, maybe the southern sides of Trelawney and St. Anne, just right in the heart of the island here. Some thunderstorm activity there. Mainly dry, far western side, Kingston off towards the east, St. Thomas and Portland parishes looking pretty good as far as the dry weather so far. So back over to the boundary, southeast Cuba, then back over portions of mainly the Turks and Caicos, where we've had some passing showers and a rumble of thunder. Now, this is all moving fairly quickly, so it's not extremely concentrated, but, can't rule out some opportunities for some heavier downpours from time to time. The clouds were even a little bit thicker over Turks and Caicos and the Grand Turk area earlier in the day. They've kind of thinned out a little bit as drier air is beginning to nudge in. Again, as this boundary begins to kind of fade away, all of the drier air that's been inherent in the central and the northwest sides of the Bahamas will eke its way a little bit farther to the south. But what that does mean is that this moisture is coming back down for some of the greater Antilles over the weekend ahead. But back to this drier air, and it's been absolutely gorgeous. Let me show you guys these current temperatures. You want to be jealous. Get yourself to Grand Bahama or New Providence today. Temperatures in the mid and the upper 70s Fahrenheit for daytime highs. Very little humidity, and central Eleuthera looks about the same. Of course, we have our live cameras here at Meteo Mundo. It's one of the exclusive things I can show you guys. So if you appreciate that, hit that like button for me right now. I really help pay the bills, help pay for these cameras. This is from Governor's Harbor. Again, it's a beautiful shot. Skies are clear, the winds are light, and sea conditions look great. There's no advisories for our boaters in the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos over the weekend. We'll follow again the boundary back off towards the south. Now, areas that will start to see better rain chances include Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Lesser Antilles. And of course, that's not great news for portions of Haiti. We've mentioned this many times, how it's still having to deal with the ramifications from Melissa and all of the flooding and the loss of life. It's such a bad situation in some areas. So we just don't want localized heavy rain to aid or exacerbate the problems that they're having there. And again, with some of the, flash flooding that has occurred and what has been left behind. So you just don't want additional heavy rain, but I do expect the rain chance overall to begin to improve, including most of the Dominican Republic. So from the Samana Peninsula to Punta Cana and Santo Domingo, shower and storm chances should begin to come back up beginning over the weekend, with some spotty showers in the forecast even on this Friday. Go back over to the infrared satellite imagery here for you guys. And again, it's been a relatively quieter day across Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. We're seeing some isolated thunderstorms developing there. Winds today have actually been on the lighter side. They haven't been horrible whatsoever. We still have a more easterly direct surface wind, but we'll start to see that boundary sag to the south, and that will provide more lift in the atmosphere and just giving us a higher concentration for some moisture and better rain chances over the weekend. That'll be inherent across the Leeward Islands as well, from Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda. Beautiful day ahead. And then we'll see a better rain chance beginning Saturday and into Sunday. A little bit of a fresh breeze over Guadalupe, but it's not bad. About a 25-mile-an-hour wind from time to time. Again, an isolated shower is being transported by this easterly wind and the shallow moisture that's in play. From Dominique and Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, and Grenada, all more dry hours and locations than wet weather, but we'll still have a couple of showers here and there. Another live camera we got for you guys. This is Corinth, St. Lucia on the western side of the island. Sun splash late Friday afternoon across the area again. Fairly tranquil conditions here, and even though there'll be a few shower chances over the weekend, there's nothing that's going to stop you guys from being outside. Okay, this is from Bob, Gros Islet. Now I'm going to say it as best as I can. I know the pronunciation may not be completely correct. I do, as you guys know, try and research all the pronunciations. This one was a little bit tougher. A lot of the natives say that very quickly. Gros Islet, something like that. Let me know how I did. It doesn't really matter because it's more about the picture. What a gorgeous shot from Bob there, enjoying another part of St. Lucia. And then we've had some beautiful weather across other areas of the Windward Islands, including Barbados. And Cheryl brings in this shot from Barbados, kind enough to not let me know the exact location. That's just fine. Barbados has enjoyed some gorgeous weather. Look at that sunrise coming up. And again, mainly fair weather clouds, and from time to time enough moisture with those easterlies to provide us the opportunity for a shower or a rumble of thunder. Now you can see a little bit thicker cloud coverage here over TNT, those latitudes, if nothing else. Some of that could try and make a run, and slightly higher rain chances overall for Trinidad and Tobago, but even then it's not very, more than isolated to scattered at best. And it's been a beautiful last few days here in the ABC Islands. We've had some breezes from time to time, but I've got the wind gusts on right now. We're not seeing that. It's been a little bit toasty for November. Upper 80s to right around 90 for daytime highs. Willemstad came in at 91 for today. Oranjestad, Aruba in at the double snowman. That's 88, double snowman. Live look outside. Eagle Beach area of Oranjestad. Again, a little bit of cloud coverage, even just a touch of haze in the sky, but another beautiful afternoon here in Aruba. Again, a little bit of a fresh breeze, but not bad as we pan the camera back off right directly across the coastal areas. You can see the beachgoers just enjoying another beautiful afternoon. Now, this is a great shot. Captain Polly, friend of the channel, sent this in. He says, "Hey, Rusty, there I am on the Eagle Beach camera." So he sent me that still photo of the Eagle Beach camera and said, "Hey, look, there we go." And you know what? Fantastic. Jealous of you guys. Appreciate that. Friends, take a quick second, hit that like button for me again. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for subscribing to the channel, the 70,000 strong we have here at Meteo Mundo. Thank you for sharing this channel with your family and friends. Those who are members of the channel, I appreciate that. If you are so inclined and you want to support the channel, you'll find ways to do so via the memberships and in the description of the video below if you want to show your generosity in that regard. So now we're going to get into the short-term forecast, island by island over the weekend, and then deep dive into the tropics a little bit more. So I am going to discuss here where I think we're going to have higher rain chances overall. And we'll start in portions of the Greater Antilles, including Hispaniola and Puerto Rico. Again, that boundary is sagging to the south, the one that has plagued portions of the Northwest Caribbean with the heavy rain. Now, it's not in the same state as it was a few days ago. It is beginning to fade, but it's still providing some lift in the atmosphere, and there's some tropical moisture coming in with the easterlies, and you combine that, and we're just going to have heightened rain chances. So I do expect rain chances to stay moderate in Turks and Caicos, portions of Cuba, rain chances elevating overall the next few days for Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It may not be extremely concentrated, but I am concerned that there will be some areas of the DR that could fall under some flood advisories, because we could on a daily basis get 2 to 3 inches of rain or 50 to 75 millimeters. Now, that's not going to be in any more than isolated locations, but if we get some of this in some of the higher terrain, that can lead to some quick flooding in some of the lower lying areas here, with that being such a mountainous island. Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, likely to see enhanced rain chances for the weekend ahead. So Puerto Rico, Vieques and Culebra, St. Croix, St. Thomas and St. John, my friends on Yost Van Dyke and Virgin Gorda and Tortola and Anegada, 40, 50, maybe 60% chance for showers. Still fairly quick moving. You got weekend plans. We're looking pretty good. High surf advisories from time to time. Noted that through portions of Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands. So just keep that in mind, that from, some occasions over the weekend, we're going to get some elevated sea conditions, some 2 to 3 meter swells from time to time. Passing showers, Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Bart's, slightly higher Antigua, Barbuda, good chance Ceiba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat. Guadeloupe will see moderate rain chances. A general trend would be the farther south that you go, slightly lower rain chances, especially from Martinique south. As you can see on the map, it's not completely dry, but nothing is very concentrated for St. Lucia and Barbados and SVG and Grenada and TNT. So you got a good weekend ahead for us here. Nueva Esparta, slightly better chances for rain coming in on Monday. I expect spotty showers at best for the ABC Islands the next couple of days. There could still be some local heavy downpours, some of that in the evening and overnight hours, but not a lot of rain overall here. Now, we still have our monsoon trough, which is still spinning around here, our Central American gyre, and that's still going to promote some hefty rain chances for Panama and Costa Rica. But the air is drying out a bit farther north, so Nicaragua and Honduras and Guatemala and Belize and most of Quintana Roo will see decreasing or lower rain chances starting now through the weekend and even into early next week. So it's spotty rain for Cancun and Cozumel and Tulum and Orange Walk and Belize City and the Bay Islands. Still could see some locally heavy downpours. The concentration is not nearly as there. Again, mid to late this week, that stalled boundary was a real focusing mechanism for some nasty heavy rainfall in some areas and some flooding concerns, but it's beginning to fall apart. Same situation over the Cayman Islands. Rain chances will stay slightly elevated. They'll begin to fade, especially on Monday, but Saturday and early Sunday, the Cayman Islands will have a decent chance for some passing showers and a rumble of thunder. Overall, rain chances will be somewhat more isolated across Jamaica. Still not completely dry, but from Morant Bay and Kingston and Portmore and Spanish Town, and my friends in Mandeville and Treasure Beach and areas to the west, which again, still so impacted by Melissa. There'll be an opportunity for a passing shower, but I don't expect a lot. And temperatures overall should be pretty nice. Again, we've had a bit of a north breeze in the Northwest Bahamas thanks to this boundary. If nothing else, a bit of an easterly component to the wind. I do expect rain chances to be quite low overall for the Bahamas. Slightly better southeast Bahamas down to Turks and Caicos, from Exuma north towards Walker's Key and the Abacos. we're looking pretty darn good. Another cold front coming off the United States East Coast is going to blast across Bermuda. Some near gale conditions there, bursts of rain and some wind kind of in between. I think the best chance is Saturday and Monday, a little bit drier on Sunday, but decent rain chances and some wind for Bermuda the next few days. This is your island by island rain chance, my friends. It looks like this. Again, relatively dry in the northwest Bahamas. Also dry air, low humidity, great feel to the air. Central southeast Bahamas, 30% chance Saturday, Sunday. Turks and Caicos with an isolated shower chance. Cuba's rain chances higher tomorrow, a little bit lower Sunday, Monday. Cayman Islands rain chances, again, not fantastically high, but a little bit, especially on your Saturday. Belize, Cancun and Cozumel, rain chances will continue to drop through the early part of next week. We're certainly done with the best chance for rain in the short term. Jamaica's rain chances over the weekend, just a 20% chance, then a 30 on Monday. Here's your increasing rain chances for the Dominican Republic and Haiti, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. 50, 60, even a 70% chance for rain through the weekend ahead, and then we do dry out again beginning on Monday. Bermuda's rain chances, as I mentioned, high Saturday, Monday. Anguilla's rain chances are moderate with an elevated risk on Monday, and rain chances overall in the Lesser Antilles will at least be decent Saturday and Sunday, and then in most island areas slightly a little bit higher on Monday, again favoring northern sides of the island chain for the better rain chances. So Antigua Barbuda, 40% chance Saturday, Sunday, 60 on Monday. Montserrat, 50 to 60. Guadeloupe, 40 to 50. Same thing for Dominica. And then lower rain chances, Martinique, St. Lucia, and SVG. Just not completely dry. Martinique at least has a decent chance for some rain Sunday, Monday. And again, relatively quiet weekend for the areas from St. Lucia off towards the south, including Barbados and Grenada and TNT, but slightly higher chances, some areas Sunday, Monday, and as I mentioned, a little bit more elevated TNT, but still somewhat isolated in nature. Suriname and Guyana, 40 to 50% chance most days. Nueva Esparta, 20 to 30. Slightly building rain chances in the ABC Islands. By Monday, we're back up to a 30% chance. This is about as good as it's been outside of the cold front coming off the United States East Coast that I have seen across their area when we're talking about waves for what could be months. It's interesting to note, again, high pressure building back in over the Gulf that is going to expand, and you see a lot of gray on that map. A lot of gray on that map late this weekend and early next week. That's not bad. Now, the north winds will probably kick up some waves, northern sides of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Leeward Islands. These are the areas with the high surf advisory potential, but overall boating conditions really look pristine here for the next 5 to 7 days. Still going to have the boundary causing some problems. Again, it's going to sag a little bit farther to the south, so you notice that all the rain here has basically fallen in the first 48 hours. More falls a little bit later through, again, portions of the Greater Antilles, and then down the road. It's not the next 3 or 4 days, but potentially mid next week, another kind of push of tropical moisture gets back into the Eastern Caribbean to highlight higher rain chances across the Lesser Antilles. I'll be monitoring that. I'll have more on that coming up in videos subsequently for the next week ahead as well. And of course, our monsoon trough bringing a lot of high rain chances to portions of the southern sides of Central America. Now we're going to deep dive into the tropical outlook for the rest of November. We're in the last couple of months of the last couple of weeks of the Atlantic hurricane season. Sea surface temperatures in the Caribbean can still absolutely support potential development. Your numbers in Celsius range mainly in the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees Celsius through most of the Caribbean, highlighted by a maximum of 30.6 degrees. Guys, that is going to be 87, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, most areas are, 28, 29 at best, and that cold front and that boundary has pushed a little bit cooler air. Look at the rain and what it's done to the Gulf of Honduras, has really dropped temperatures there by several degrees Celsius. But this is not an inhibitor to seeing tropical development. The inhibitor is the fact that basically everything else has really begun to fall apart pretty quickly here. If I take this out over the next few days here and just loop this up, we're getting a little bit more wind shear across the Caribbean and certainly the Western Atlantic basin. The tropical waves, right, that are coming off the West African coast, they're basically non-existent right now. The intertropical convergence zone gets a little bit more active in the southern latitudes of the Atlantic and starts to disrupt those waves. You will start to see very elongated moisture along that ITCZ, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, but this is nothing concentrated that's going to produce low-level spin. From time to time, it can kick some of that moisture back off towards the west, which is why I do expect elevated rain chances for portions of next week across the Eastern Caribbean, but it's not going to be an organized tropical system. Typically, as we get into mid-November, as we're doing so right now, the chance for a true tropical system really falls very quickly. Could we still get a subtropical storm, a hybrid storm of some kind? It's always plausible this time of the year, and any one of these little spin-ups off the United States East Coast is a very common area in November to get the hybrid or subtropical storms. This is the European ensemble members. You can see a lot of spin in the mid-latitudes, but those are mid-latitude cyclones. They're not tropical systems. Look back into the Atlantic Basin, look back into the Caribbean, look back into the Gulf. I'm taking you guys out 10 days till the 24th. Absolutely nothing on the board here. And again, some of these in the mid-latitudes, they could always be a subtropical system, but they're also moving quickly through the Atlantic and back to the north and to the east. So the trajectory is even away from our area. So at this point in time, none of the models, GFS, European Icon, Canadian CMC, the big global models are highlighting really any risk for tropical development, at least over the next 10 days. And then we push to the last couple of days of November, the chance just falls more and more. So there is a high likelihood that we have had our last named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. As you guys know, I'm always monitoring it for you guys. And you can monitor us and follow us across all of our social media platforms. I really appreciate it. Come join us on Instagram, TikTok, where from time to time we do some exclusive content. You can find us on X and Facebook. And of course, just like my friends did today, you want to send me a picture or video, simplest way to do that, myMediaMundo@gmail.com. You have a question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comments section below. Please remember that Media Mundo is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. You get storm damage of any kind, they'll walk you through the insurance claim process, and they offer free consultation and policy reviews. You got nothing to lose. Check them out at leanonmelaw.com for more information. Friends, on the way out, I do appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribing. And again, thank you for finding enough from this video to spend part of your day with me. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm back soon with your latest forecast right here at Media Mundo.